What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, we're going to be talking about how the New England Patriots are meeting with the top cornerbacks in this upcoming 2022 NFL Draft. Now, the first cornerback that the Patriots have met with here, in no specific order, is Trent McDuffie. Now, they just recently met with Trent McDuffie. Reports came out that he actually visited the Patriots, so it does sound like this is a top 30 visit, which is a very important aspect of them actually meeting with McDuffie. I'm a little surprised that they actually went and had a visit, a top 30 visit with McDuffie, not because he isn't talented, but because he's going to be out of the Patriots' range. I just don't see a world in which Trent McDuffie falls to 21. Now, if he does, that is an absolute steal, and I completely hope that that happens for the Patriots, but in the realistic side of things, in real life, he's not going to be there at 21. PFF has him ranked as the 8th best player in this draft, and his average draft projection, according to PFF, is around the 13th overall pick. He's really going to have to drop for the Patriots to have a chance at 21 to grab Trent McDuffie, but I think that there's a lot of teams that would trade up to grab Trent McDuffie before the 21st overall pick if he does fall. Now, McDuffie is going to be an elite cornerback in this league. He's considered the second best corner in this draft. He is a little bit on the smaller side. That's one part that I don't like at 5'11", 193 pounds. But he consistently plays bigger than his physical size. He only allowed 16 catches from 36 targets for 111 yards with no touchdowns and 5 pass breakups. He also didn't allow more than 39 yards in any single game of the 2021 season and only allowed 2 deep receptions in his entire career. Now, PFF says that he is the best zone corner in this class, but they did also say that that label doesn't go to show his full ability. He can still play man, but he's an absolute hawk when it comes to zone defense, which the Patriots are going to play primarily in the 2022 season, but at some point they are going to get back to playing press man coverage. Also only 21 years old, he has a lot of time to develop. Again, if somehow the Patriots can get their hands on Trent McDuffie, I'm all for it. I don't see the Patriots trading up in order to get him, but maybe they want an elite corner so bad that if Trent McDuffie falls a little bit, they trade up a couple of spots in order to get him. But the fact that they met with him does go to say something. Now, the next cornerback that the Patriots met here with is another first-round projected cornerback in Andrew Booth Jr., and I'm a big fan of Andrew Booth. When I've done a lot of my mock drafts, when I've watched other people's mock drafts, 9 out of 10 times, you either have Kaiir Elam or Andrew Booth there, and on even some occasions, you have both of those guys there. Now, his average draft projection is 25th overall, meaning that he is projected to be there by the Patriots' 21st overall pick, and PFF has him ranked as the 27th best, not free agent, but draft prospect in this year's draft. Now, he's a little bit bigger than McDuffie. He's 6 foot, 194 pounds. He is super versatile. He's a really good zone cornerback, which will really help the Patriots out for the 2022 season, which again, they'll be primarily playing zone, especially compared to what we're used to. But when the Patriots switch back to playing press man coverage, when their personnel allows them to, Andrew Booth is a guy that can easily adapt to press man coverage. He's just so dang versatile that he can really play in any defensive scheme for any 32 NFL teams. Now, Booth has really good feet. PFF says that he has some of the best, if not the best feet in this entire draft class. One of the big reasons, though, that they have him kind of falling towards the late first round is because he got exposed a little bit too often down the field. He's the type of guy that has some concerns with the longevity of his downfield speed. Is he really going to be able to keep up with these faster guys and deep threats in the NFL at that next level? That's really the big question mark for him. He gave up 29 catches from 46 targets on 312 yards in his first full year as a starter. He doesn't really have a lot of starting experience, and it started off a little rough for him in his first year as a starter, but as things progressed throughout that first year as a starter, he started to get really good, really consistent, and really became a lockdown guy. He's just very, very raw. He's the type of guy that is more of an ascending all-around cornerback entering the NFL more than an NFL-ready player. He has really, really good short area quickness and, again, not so good lawn speed. And that's not to say that his lawn speed is absolutely horrendous. It's just nowhere near his short area quickness. But that short area quickness will definitely be able to give the Patriots a guy that can match up with these guys that are quick on slants, guys that are really more technicians in this league and work more from that short to intermediate route. Tackling and experience are really the two things hindering Andrew Booth. But I do think with the right coaching, he could easily become an elite corner in this league. Now, one of the next guys that they met with here at the cornerback position that is a guy that is expected to go fairly high. He's expected to be about a third-round pick. PFF has him as the 11th best corner in this draft. Is Marcus Jones out of Houston. PFF has him ranked as the 91st best draft prospect, and he has an average draft projection of going about 90th overall, which again is about the third round. Now, this guy might be more of a special teamer, at least at first here for the Patriots. Not a big fan of the size on this guy, not at all. 5'8", 174 pounds, transitioning to the NFL, that is going to be very, very tough for him. If the Patriots do select him, I do believe that they're more interested in his special teams aspect rather than his defensive aspect. Again, he is expected to be a third-round pick according to PFF, and PFF themselves say Jones is the best returner in the class and an all-around special team dynamo. He had 6 career return touchdowns, including a game winner in 2021. He also had 2 interceptions and 3 PBUs on 18 targets, which defensively is very good, but keep in mind, small college. Now, despite his size, he did primarily play as a perimeter corner, but did get a decent amount of time in the slot also. He did have pretty good numbers when it came to playing defense. In 2021, he had 5 interceptions, allowed a passer rating of 53.5, allowed 2 touchdowns, allowed 545 yards on 75 targets with 36 receptions. He had an overall grade in 2021 of 87.8, while in 2020, he had an overall grade of 89.7, in which he allowed a passer rating of 63.3, 1 interception, allowed 1 touchdown, allowed 145 yards, while he was targeted 33 times with 18 receptions. He had a coverage grade of 87.4, a run defensive grade of 83.1, and a completion percentage of 48%. Now, those numbers are really good, but again, keep in mind, college is very, very small. You're going to be transitioning to the NFL, where this is going to be the top of the top. This is going to be the best talent around. This is better than even the top of the best college talent. And that size definitely concerns me as a perimeter corner, so he might be a guy that is mainly a return man, but could get some looks, maybe as a slot guy that could take over for Jonathan Jones. Now, the next guy the Patriots met with is going to be a mid-round projection here. I believe I'm saying his name right. Caleb Evans. He's expected to be a 5th-round pick. PFF has him ranked as the 175th best draft prospect, but he has an average draft projection of 151 rather, which would put him as a 5th-round pick. I also find this really interesting. He's been second most drafted when you're doing mock drafts here, by the Patriots. First team has a 15% most drafted by the Chiefs, then the Patriots at 12%, and then the Cowboys at 6%. Patriots obviously have 2 fifth-round picks now. Could be a guy that they look into. They also met with him, so definitely something to look into. Now, PFF doesn't have much on him as a 5th-round pick. 6'2", 197 pounds. I do like the size on him. He had a coverage grade of 72.1 in 2021, a run defensive grade of 75 even. Numbers here aren't so great. He allowed a passer rating of 97 in 2021, allowed a passer rating of 98.7 in 2020, and allowed a passer rating of 97.5 in 2019. This past year, he was targeted 47 times, allowed 25 receptions for 271 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Again, though, let's remember, he's expected to be a 5th-round pick, a mid to later round draft pick here, so understand what you're getting within that round. And the last guy that the Patriots have met with, at least as of now, at the cornerback position is going to be Jack Jones out of Arizona State. Now, before we get into that last guy here, I do want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video, betonline.ag, guys. BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports betting and wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all the popular sports and games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, Jack Jones here is expected to be about an early 7th-round pick. PFF has him ranked as the 230th best draft prospect, and he has an average draft projection of 223 overall. Again, as a guy that is so late, or expected to be so late of a draft pick, PFF doesn't have too much info on this guy. 5'11", 171 pounds. Not great height. He's also 24 years old, so he's also a little bit up there in age already. In 2021, he had a coverage grade of 78.8 and a run defensive grade of 69.0. He also allowed a completion percentage of 66. In 2021, he actually had his best season so far, put up a PFF grade of 79.4. He was targeted 50 times and allowed 33 receptions for 410 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and allowed a passer rating of 86.3. At this point in the draft, though, in the 7th round, you're just looking for a guy you can take a flyer on, a guy that really could end up being a potential steal for you, but again, ultimately, you're just taking a flyer on. But that is going to be it for today's video. The Patriots are meeting with some of the top free agent corners, or not free agent corners, but rather draft prospect corners in this upcoming 2022 NFL draft that will occur in just a couple of weeks. This was the full list of corners they've also met with so far, but what are your guys' thoughts on these guys? Is there anyone that surprised you that they haven't met with yet? For me, I would say one guy I'm surprised we haven't heard about a meeting with is Julian Edelman. He's a guy that they should be able to get in the 1st round. If he drops to the 2nd, would it surprise me if they looked to maybe potentially trade up for him? He is one of the best corners in this class. He fits what they really like, so for me personally, surprised they haven't looked into him yet, but we do still have more time to go. What are your guys' thoughts? So let me know in the comments section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, though, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.